Hey everyone, it's Sammy from Push Square, and in today's video I wanted to look at a list of upcoming PlayStation VR games that will release in 2018 and that I think are well worth keeping your eyes on. Now 2017 was an amazing year for PlayStation VR. Not only did the headset pass 2 million units, but it also received a slew of really great titles throughout the year, and 2018 is looking to be even better. So without further ado, I'm going to get into my list of upcoming titles that I think you should be really excited for, but remember, do like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation VR content. And with that said, let's get into it. Now, I want to start out by stressing that there's no order to this list. Actually, the first few games I've ordered by release date, and then beyond that it's just alphabetical order. So this is more a list of games generally that I think you should be looking forward to, but the natural place to start is the Inpatient, which is due out in January. Now, this is an Until Dawn prequel, and it's obviously a horror game. Resident Evil 7 proved how well horror can work in PlayStation VR, and I have actually played about half an hour of the Inpatient. If you'll remember, Until Dawn had a lot of jump scares, and the Inpatient sees a return to these kind of jump scares, except they're 10 times more effective in virtual reality. So I'm really excited for this one, although I am a little bit scared about playing it too. Now, the number 2 upcoming PlayStation VR game that I think you should be really excited for is Moss. Now, this is a puzzle platformer effectively. It takes place in virtual reality, but you play kind of stationary, and it integrates you into the world in a very clever way. Basically, you can see your reflection in water and in mirrors as this kind of godlike creature, and you use the DualShock 4 to move objects and also control a little mouse character. It's really quite simple in terms of the way it uses virtual reality, but it's very effective and very immersive, and this is probably going to be one of PSVR's best games in 2018. The demos I've played have been absolutely superb, and if you haven't tried it yet, there is a new demo on the PlayStation Store, so you can give this a go for yourself and see what it's all about. I think you'll come away really impressed with it. So the third game on my list is Bravo Team. Now, this is quite a dry, military-based first-person shooter, but I'm sure you'll agree if you've ever played a co-op game in PlayStation VR before that it's quite a profound experience. You feel a connection with your partner that you don't usually get with a standard television-based game, and so with this game you obviously use the PSVR aim controller to shoot and target your enemies, but you can also point and direct your accomplice around the map, and this creates for some really interesting tactical combat based scenarios which elevate it beyond its rather drab visuals and setting. So the fourth game on my list is a game that was announced quite early in the PlayStation VR's life cycle, and it's a game by former Bungie employees, so there's a lot of pedigree behind it. It's called GOLEM. It's a game that we don't actually know a massive amount about yet, but it basically sees you take control of giant stone creatures, and it sees you engage in kind of massive sword fight battles. It looks really interesting and really cool. It definitely has a massive sense of scale. I haven't played it for myself yet, but I'm super eager to get my hands on this one, and it's definitely worthy of its place on this list. Now, the fifth game on my list won't be fully playable with PlayStation VR, but I can't think of a better fit than Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Now, Bandai Namco said that it's going to have a full additional standalone sort of campaign that supports virtual reality, and it's just going to be so much fun engaging in high stakes dogfights with PlayStation VR headset on. So the sixth game on my list is the one that I'm personally most excited for, and this is Blood and Truth. Now, if you played PlayStation VR Worlds at launch, you'll be familiar with the London heist, which was arguably one of the most convincing concept demos for PSVR that's been made so far, and this is turning that entire concept into a full-length AAA tier game. It's got really fun combat from what I've seen so far. You can do little gun tricks like throwing ammo cartridges up in the air and then slamming them back into your gun. It looks like the visuals are absolutely out of this world for what we've seen on PSVR so far, and yeah, it's got this kind of Danny Dyer meets James Bond vibe to it, which personally is right up my alley. I can't wait to play this one. It's definitely my most anticipated PSVR game of 2018. The seventh game on my list is Dreams. Now, I have to be clear here, Media Molecules said that Dreams won't support PlayStation VR at launch, but they've basically said that they're going to update it after launch with a PSVR update, similar to what they did with Little Big Planet 2 and the PlayStation Move, I imagine. And while that's disappointing that it's not going to be supported at launch, it's super excited because if you're not familiar with Dreams, the game is basically all about creating anything you can imagine. So the thought that the community is going to be able to create entire virtual reality experiences is both mind-boggling and really, really amazing. So I can't wait to see what people are going to do in Dreams with PlayStation VR. So the 8th game on my list is similar to Moss in that it's quite a traditional concept on paper. It's a 2D platforming type game with teleportation abilities, but it's using virtual reality to immerse you in its world in a way that you can't on a standard television screen. And I think it's interesting to see these virtual reality games branch out and try different gameplay concepts, try different genres. Not everything needs to be a sort of first-person shooter or a cockpit-based game. And I'm really looking forward to Star Child for that reason. It also looks absolutely gorgeous in virtual reality. The 9th game on my list is Sprint Vector, which is a game all about speed, and that sounds like a terrible fit for virtual reality, but the developers clearly put a lot of work in to make sure that this is a comfortable experience and it doesn't give you motion sickness. It kind of looks a little bit like Jet Set Radio in some ways. It definitely reminds me of those old Sega Dreamcast style games. It's got that kind of art and feel to it, but yeah, this one's looking really exciting, really fast and frantic, and it actually sees you using the PlayStation Move controllers to kind of make a running motion to generate movement, which is an interesting mechanic, and I'm eager to see more of this one in action. So the 10th game on my list is The Persistence, which was originally announced as a kind of Dead Space-esque horror game, but is actually more of a roguelite. It basically sees you take control of the remaining members of a spaceship crew on a futuristic vessel that's basically gone awry and been invaded by all sorts of deadly and monstrous creatures. And basically with each death, you'll be able to awaken a new survivor, and you'll be unlocking constant new abilities and features that are going to help you to get that little bit further to your end goal in typical roguelite fashion. So the 11th game on my list is a game that I actually couldn't tell you a lot about. It's called Transference. It's being published by Ubisoft and development is being led by Frodo Baggins, which is bonkers in of itself. It seems to be a game that's about time travel, mental health, and it seems to have some lofty ambitions. Now, Ubisoft has been a really big supporter of virtual reality. They've published some actually really very good virtual reality games, and I'm curious what this actually is. It seems interesting, it seems like it has some lofty ideas, and that's enough for me, and certainly enough for it to make a place on this list. So yeah, it's coming out in 2018. I'm eager to see what this is all about. So that's my list of upcoming PSVR games that I think you should be excited for. I'm certainly very excited for them. Let me know if there's anything I've missed off in the comment section below. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. We'll have a lot of PlayStation VR content all through 2018 and beyond. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.